Hi Sean, it's a pleasure that you're here joining us today. Thank you for coming. It's a pleasure and a real honour to have you here. I'm obviously a very proud uncle as well. When you look back at your career, it's fabulous. Over 50 caps for Ireland, over 100 plus caps for your club Leinster and now London Irish, 5 Lions Test. You had 2 World Cups, European Player of the Year, so many accolades. It's amazing. Well done. So really nice. And thanks for today. I just want to ask you some questions which are very topical about the Lions. And I suppose first question is, who do you think will be the most influential player for the Lions on the tour?
I think it's a really good question. I think, with the calibre of players that the Lions have picked, it could be numerous lads. But for me, I think there's 2 boys that will dictate a lot when they get to South Africa. Firstly, Robbie Henshaw in the centre, whether he plays 12 or 13. Just with his physical presence in D, his attacking prowess, and his overall communication and leadership as well. He's really grown into that role, I think, with his club Leinster and with Ireland over the past couple of seasons. So he's going to be a massive part of what the Lions do and achieve in South Africa's backyard. And secondly then, I think Maro Itoje, just his physical presence, his breakdown ability, his carrying ability. He's someone you want to go toe-to-toe with the big pack that South Africa are going to pick and physically impose himself on these South Africans. And his communication and voice and energy should, breed and bring everyone to a different level within the Lions camp. Knowing him from the last tour as well, he'll want to go to a different level than he has even with England, which has been incredible over the past couple of seasons. So those 2 players for me, I think, are going to play a massive part in how the Lions try to beat the Springboks in their backyard.
Which Springbok do you think will do the most damage against the Lions on the tour?
Yeah, with the squad they've picked, it's quite an interesting squad because there's a few names in there that maybe the boys don't know that well in terms of they're playing in the Pro 14. Obviously, South Africa are world champions at the minute, but the cogs that are connecting all the dots for them are Flaf de Kirk at 9, massive for them. I think Pollard, if he's fit and well, at 10. And then their back row and their captain, obviously, Khaleesi, has a massive role to play within that team. And I suppose World Player of the Year as well, Steph de Toit, who's going to be humongous for them. And he's hitting a bit of form at the minute as well. He's been playing really, really well for his club. So they have this certain dynamic that no other kind of team have at the minute in terms of they can play a big physical game. But then they have lads like Colby on the wing, who is a devastating finisher, who can create something out of nothing that the Lions will have to look very carefully at. So they've threats everywhere, and this South African team, make no bones about it, are going to come route 1, I think, in the first test. They will try and play a little bit, but I think, you look at the history of 09 and what they brought to the party. They physically tried to beat up and out-muscle the Lions, and I don't think they'll go away from that plan come the first test. They might evolve as the tour goes on, but make no bones about it, the Lions are going to be in for the most physical battle ever.
What are your thoughts about the Lions coaching staff and Gatling in particular?
Yeah, I think Warren, I suppose his resume speaks for itself. He's done it all in the game of rugby. He's unbeaten on any of the Lions tours he's been on, or in charge of, I should say. So, the proof is in the pudding, really. So he is the right man for the job. He lets players take control of certain areas and chips in with bits and pieces every now and then. And, he's an incredibly astute and smart person at the back of it all. So he'll have a good plan in place for these boys going out there, and he'll have them mentally prepared. And I think one of the things with Gats is that he does build confidence in a lot of guys, and he builds confidence within the squad. And he stated already early in this Lions selection and tour that they're going out there to win a series, and not be afraid of that. So I think with him at the helm and all his experience is brilliant. I think then he's brought in some fresh coaches with different aspects to them all. I think Gregor, with that attacking influence, and he sees opportunities within defences and how to exploit that, and he's shown that with Scotland. and he has so much experience himself as a Lion. So that's a brilliant appointment. Steve Tandy obviously was a brilliant player himself. Has done a brilliant job with the defence in Scotland as well, and they've really grown over the last 2 seasons. So that's another new voice, new person within the environment. And then obviously Robin McBride, someone who Gats trusts a lot, has worked with in the past, and has been in a high class performance like Leinster for the last 2 seasons now, and has obviously developed his side of coaching. So they have a great mix, I think. They have a very difficult job as a group of coaches to try and get people to buy into what they're trying to do, and to make sure when they get to South Africa they've hit the ground running, because it's going to come thick and fast, and they really all have to be going to one direction and all on the same page. So I think it's a hugely exciting coaching group to see what type of game the Lions can produce when they get out there.
Sadly, the bubble system must have affected the performance, or must affect the performance of the players. Do you agree?
It certainly has an effect, there's no doubt about that. Even like the fact of getting out of that bubble system for a coffee or walking around town, or as I said, when they get to South Africa, whether it be socialising together outside the hotel area, or meeting family and friends. None of that's going to be the case now, because it's just too tricky. One case of COVID in camp could derail the whole tour, and that's how serious it is. But they'll be well aware of this, and that's why the coaches, the players, will have a plan to combat all of this within their bubble. They should have good fun. I'm looking forward to seeing who comes out with it in terms of the characters within the squad, who drives the bit of crack, who's leading the charge in socials when they do get an event to go to. So all this will be definitely new in this tour, whereas previously it was a free-for-all, and that's why these players love going on these tours. It's such good fun, build bonds forever. You're best mates with a player who you're trying to take the head off a few weeks beforehand. So this is what it's all about, and it's exciting. But again, it definitely is going to be something completely different to what the players have experienced before, and especially going to South Africa, they're not going to get what they want over there either. There's going to be bumps in the road, but it's how they react to it, and hopefully they react in a good way.
Have you spoken to Johnny Sexton since the Lion squad was announced? And what do you think of the Gatland's decision to omit him from the squad?
Yeah, I think it's one of the obviously huge decisions around the selection process, was leaving Johnny out with his experience. Big game player, produces on big days. And yeah, I text Johnny afterwards and just said, look, stay ready, you know what this is like. And he replied a nice message back, and he's one of those players that would always be ready anyway, and I think he could be used in this tour at some point. I really do believe that. But Gats has stated why he left him out in terms of his injury profile over the last while. And to be fair, the other out halves that are gone are they're on merit. They played really well during the Six Nations, and it's a tough one on Johnny, because it would have been a nice way to finish off his Lions career, going to South Africa and hopefully winning a series. But never say never, and he could be there yet.
Last question, but I think very important. Who do you think will win the tour?
Oh, it's my heart wants the Lions to win for sure. Just knowing what the boys will go through over the next 8-9 weeks, and what they'll put into it. It's going to be a very difficult place to go to and win a series, and with the squad that South Africa have, they're in a very strong position, full of confidence. World champions in their own backyard. It's going to be tough. I think it could be 2-1 to South Africa at the end of it.
And finally, what does your future hold after rugby?
Yeah, it's a thing I'm kind of half afraid of at the minute, because I probably have another year in rugby, maybe 2, but definitely 1 anyway. But I'm definitely going to prepare myself over the next 16-17 months probably for going down the coaching route first and foremost. It's something I get a lot out of, and something I really enjoy, and it's a role I'm probably moving into in London Irish now with some of the younger guys even at the minute. So that's one thing. I'm just finishing off a business degree. I have a sports management degree already, and maybe business development down the line as well. I enjoy talking to people. I enjoy doing, going in and meeting and greeting people and and having a bit of fun and letting them get to know my personality. And then obviously there's a little bit of media stuff that I've dabbled in recently with podcasts and a bit of TV work. So there's a few options probably for me. And over the next, as I said, that 16, 17 months, I want to kind of put a bit more structure around that and make sure that when the time does come to hang up the boots, that I'm in a reasonably good place to move into something else.
And one more question that's come to mind is, any words of encouragement for the Lions players before they depart on the tour?
I just think for the players going over there, I just think to really enjoy it and embrace the whole atmosphere and what the Lions is all about. And to do that, and they will have a good plan going over there, and to execute that to the best of their ability, to be in a really good place. But to really enjoy the whole, I suppose, the whole element of what a Lions tour is about, and the bonds that they're going to make forevermore.
Just wanted to thank you for the day. I've really appreciated it. I think your insights are fabulous. It's going to be a great tour, and thanks again.
You're very welcome.